What's up, everybody? Celtic Scare here, back with our video. Get those 10s and 20 views. Today, we are talking wrestling. We are talking 11 wrestlers slash tag teams that I think would do better now than when they were in their prime. Yeah, so basically what that means is I am taking a wrestler out of their prime and pretty much having them as a brand new wrestler or in their prime in 2023, and I would believe they would be a much more successful wrestler than they were at their peak. Now I am going from number 11 to number 1, being 11 is the one who would have the least amount of change to their career but still have a vastly better career, and number 1 being someone who would have a immensely different career if they came out now in their prime, which would be like mid 20s, early 30s. That's where I'm calling it prime. But if you haven't noticed, I still have a cough, but I am missing something. There's a lot less swaying. That is because I chopped off my hair. Yes, I have gone to the hair salon place and I chopped it all off. But it'll grow back. It's hair. It'll grow back. And I really don't care. Because my hair will grow back. But I am donating all that hair that I just shown to a good cause, and that is Wigs for Kids. It's hair. It'll grow. I have zero issue donating it off and being a somewhat good person. So on that note, crack one open. This time it's going to be Fanta. Because, like I said, it's hair. It'll grow back. But enough of that. Let's get down to business. But first off, I have 2 honorable mentions. For the same reason why they're both getting honorable mention. God decided to take them both too soon. And the first one is... yeah, Owen Hart. Owen Hart was a great technical wrestler. He had zero issue playing a lot of gimmicks. But I do think if Owen Hart didn't get taken away too soon, his career path would have really skyrocketed. He probably would have been someone like Kurt Angle, which is kind of hard to say, having a better career in TNA than WWE. But if he wrestled now, I still think he would probably have a slightly better career. And the other one is...
I would like to take this opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Brody Lee, and I am the Exalted One.
The Exalted One, Brody Lee. Yeah, we were just seeing how fantastic of a wrestler this man truly was before God decided to say, I needed a big man upstairs. Yeah. He was having the time of his life and all of that, so unfortunately he was taken too soon. Cheers to both of them and anyone else we lost too soon. But getting back to the list at hand, yes, these are 11 wrestlers who I believe, if their prime was right now in 2023, they would make a vast load more money, win more championship, be more successful. And I will say where I think they could go and be more successful. A good number of these will be, anywhere. Like they're the type of wrestler who could go anywhere and make a lot of money. In fact, our first 11th down is going to be there. But coming in at number 11, it is... yeah, I said it, Bret the Hitman Hart. If he was in his prime now, would have a more successful career. This is a man who has wrestled from 1976 to 2011 and has won a ton of wrestling. He was even voted Pro Wrestling Illustrated #1 wrestler 2 years in a row in '93 and '94. This guy has won championships. He is a Hall of Famer in WWE. But I believe his wrestling style was better suited for the territory days. His gimmick, his persona, whatever you want to call it, did not mesh well with the Attitude Era. He wasn't like over the top like people like The Rock, Austin, Shawn Michaels. But I think if you were to drop him into modern day wrestling in his prime, so Shawn Michaels in 1993, 1994, not Shawn Michaels, 1993, 1994, Bret the Hitman Hart. Looking at the wrestling landscape today, the tactical, cerebral, in-ring mastermind that he would be a megastar. Like, you wouldn't need Super Cena, you had Bret the Hitman Hart. For people who may not remember Bret Hart, think of a taller, more jacked Daniel Bryan. I would love to see Bret the Hitman Hart in his prime versus Daniel Bryan, Zack Sabre Jr., Okada, John Cena, as I per se, CM Punk. Any of the wrestler you can put him in the ring now with would be a godsend to wrestling. And I love modern day wrestling, but you need someone like Bret Hart who could do something like that. At number 10, the whole effing show, Mr. Rob Van Dam. Still an active wrestler. Started in 1990. Yeah, there's no extra number. He was ranked #1 singles wrestler by Pro Wrestler in 2002. So if we were to take 2002 Rob Van Dam and drop him into any pro wrestling company now, he would be a megastar. An entrance that is extremely catchy and easy to go along with. An in-ring style that still isn't matched and highly imitated by people like Ray Phoenix and Pentagon Jr. Christ, Kenny Omega. He's a hybrid of those 3 wrestler styles combined. And the fact that, the Mary Jane is a lot more acceptable in this day and age than back when he was in his prime. He would have less work issues with, his recreational habit. But yeah, he would be a dream match in every company. But unfortunately, back in 2001, 2002, and all those times, he was still considered small at 6 foot tall. That's the crazy thing. He was small for the time period. You put him ranked now in his prime against guys like MJF, Adam Cole, who are about 6 foot tall, he would have zero issues with his height. Prime Rob Van Dam versus AJ Styles might have happened because they both were in TNA. Yeah, he defeated AJ Styles in 2007. We got AJ Styles, Rob Van Dam in 2007. Could you imagine that match now if Rob Van Dam was in his prime? It'd be like the first ever 10-star match by Dave Meltzer. Just saying. Coming in at number 9 on my list is
your Rampage main event is set for a 1 fall or TV time remaining. Approaching ring from Southern California, weighing 215 pounds, the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels.
The Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels. In my opinion, one of the most underrated wrestlers in the world. He only got the rank number 15 on Pro Wrestlers 500 Best Wrestlers in 2016. A technical ring general persona who could go toe to toe with anyone. You could put him in a match with anybody, and it would be a highly rated match by all standards. I want to say he was supposed to be the leader of that, like, faction, the one where Vince was like, "It's me, Austin." I think I heard a rumor that was supposed to be Christopher Daniels, but Vince McMahon thought a 6 foot, 220 pound guy wasn't big enough for his liking. CD now is still putting on great matches. The SCU was great for AEW when it first came out. Put him and maybe even Kazarian together now with Scorpio Sky, who's in his prime, the group would be unstoppable. Christopher Daniels would be fighting for world championships regardless of what company he went to. Coming in at number 8.
Beer Money!
Yeah, our first tag team. Beer Money Incorporated. Mr. Robert Bobby Roode and the Cowboy James Storm. Yeah, first tag team on the list, and they did something that I extremely like. They're a tag team that could wrestle as single stars, like another group that will pop up on this list, and actually made the list 11. But yeah, Beer Money is arguably the greatest tag team that TNA has ever produced. Yeah, and this is a company that had Motor City Machine Guns and Generation Me, aka the Young Bucks. Beer Money was must-see tag team wrestling. The only issue is they're now, as singles careers, kind of lackluster. Bobby Roode in WWE, who I still think he's in WWE as a producer role. He's now backstage following a neck injury. Hasn't done anything. Yeah, he had the glorious entrance, but his run in WWE was lackluster. James Storm, who's still wrestling on the indies, is having a lot of success, a lot of career thing. Never had the solo career outside of, TNA. I would love to have seen them in New Japan and AEW, but you still stick them in WWE. Prime Beer Money versus the Usos, the New Day, the Judgment Day, the Young Bucks, FTR, the Briscoes. I'm missing a team. Guerrillas of Destiny. There they are. Would be amazing matches in an era that is really starting to push tag team wrestling. Beer Money would be a gimmick that a lot of people can get behind. A simple concept of one guy likes beer. They need beer money, so that's why they wrestle. They would get over, and they'd be just successful now as they were. They'd be even more successful with a longer run than just 3 years. Coming in at number 7. Yeah, Too Cool. Another tag team. This is a very simple one. Yeah, they had a highly entertaining run in WWE, and I want to say they did get some championship gold. One time, it's Rikishi, light heavyweight champion, and they got technically one tag team as a thing. But yeah, Sky Too Hottie and Grandmaster Sexy, or Too Sexy, Brian Christensen, Jerry the King Lawler's son. This is an era where you see guys like Orange Cassidy getting severely over. Daniel Garcia, comedy wrestling. How did I forget Danhausen? Comedy wrestling is starting to gain some traction. Now you add a tag team who was solid in the ring, had a highly entertaining intros that everybody could get behind. They would do great things in AEW and Ring of Honor. Yeah, I don't think WWE would ever take those guys serious, but AEW and Ring of Honor would have zero issue pushing a comedy tag team that can actually go in the ring with anybody they want. Coming in at number 6. Lance Storm. Yeah, the guy whose first ever professional wrestling match was against Chris Jericho, who the two of them said they would love to have their final match together against each other. But, Jericho keeps pushing off, so therefore, Lance Storm's like, hey, Chris, you need to get going. Only got as high as number 13 in 2001. Lance Storm's issue was, A, he's only 5'11", so never going to get pushed because he wasn't tall enough. B, he was so straight-laced that he seemed like monotone boring, which is exactly what Imperium is now. Lance Storm was like that straight-laced, monotone guy well before anybody ever thought of it. I definitely think I had a list. He would do fine in AEW in New Japan, where that straight-laced, hard-hitting style would do great. I actually have a thing where I would love to say with someone farther down the list that I would team him up in a faction with. But Lance Storm would do good as the straight-laced professional wrestler with two comedy type people like someone like Fandango, who you're like, oh yes, blah blah blah. It's like Lance Storm's just in the background face palming, I will get them on track. Don't worry about it. Yeah, Lance Storm didn't really have a amazing career, but he had a long career. Coming in at number 5.
Reach for the sky, boy.
Them boys. Them Briscoe brothers. Arguably one of the greatest tag teams in the 2010 to 2020 window. And I'm putting at number 5, saying if the Briscoes were in their prime right now, and unfortunately, Jay was still with us, would be more successful than when they were first starting out. One, the reason why the Briscoes didn't appear on AEW sooner before unfortunate passing of Jay Briscoe was Jay put out a bad tweet that he eventually learned and grew from, but they don't give people second chances. Yeah, I'm talking to somebody about the whole Marty's, they're thinking about bringing back Enzo before Marty, and he says, I believe innocent to prove guilty, but we live in a generation where everyone's so fixated on the opposite. So despite the fact that Jay Briscoe, grew and learned from his stupid comment, he wasn't given a chance. But that being said, anybody else, FTR Briscoe's the trio match, those 3 matches they had wasn't some of the greatest tag teams matches of all time. You put that Briscoes, early 2012 Briscoes, now, where Jay can go as a single star who kind of pushed a very young Jay White to the limit. You can have these guys running roughshod anywhere. I think the best spot for them would actually be AEW/ROH, just for the fact that they kind of are. They were like Brody Lee. They love their families. They'd rather be at home. The lighter schedule of AEW would fit them perfectly, and I don't see a reason why that the Briscoes aren't multi-time tag team champions in AEW. I don't see why Jay Briscoe's wouldn't be multi-time AEW champions. Mark Briscoe can be multi-time TNA championship. These guys' career was amazing. And I want to say they probably got listed as the best tag team in the world at some point. Pro Wrestling Inside had Jay ranked 7th, Mark ranked, and only got 3rd. Pro Wrestling Insider dropped the ball there. But yeah, those 2 guys with all the high flipping, high stuff that goes on right now as a more physical style like FTR would run roughshod. As long as, they didn't make bad, inappropriate tweets. Coming in at number 4, Finn Balor. Yeah, I said it, Finn Balor. Yeah, he's doing great stuff with the Judgment Day, but I believe Finn Balor was born roughly 10 years too soon. Because, all the things he did in New Japan, founding the Bullet Club, all that stuff, getting to WWE, and then he got hurt the first time they gave him the, I think it was the inaugural World Universal Champion, only to get hurt. He never got to the same level. But you take Finn Balor, not at 42, but at 32, he'd be right up there with Seth Rollins, with faith and trust in everything going forward. He would be one of the faces of the WWE for the next 15 years or so. If not, he could easily have been joined AEW when they first found it, when he left New Japan versus WWE, and he would have been a dominant force in AEW, probably the first ever champion, because Prince Devitt, with all the different paint jobs they did. Yeah, WWE's kind of toned down the demon, where indie New Japan demon would change depending on the location. Finn Balor would be more successful now in his prime than he is now at 42. At number 3, the Vaughn Villains. Yeah, how many people ever heard of the Vaughn Villains? They had a very short run of 3 years as a tag team, apparently. 2 years in NXT, roughly a year on the main roster. Apparently, they got back together on June 24th. I'm not sure if they're still wrestling. But yes, the Vaughn Villains. These guys were fist no flips before FTR. These guys were a throwback to the old days, the classical days, the territory days. That type of tag team would do amazing things in AEW, ROH, and New Japan. I'm not really thinking WWE would ever give them a real shot, but two guys that could really go in the ring, who like tag team wrestling, would fit so well with everything that AEW has built, and this old school mentality of the way of doing wrestling would be such a contrast to the Lucha Brothers, the House of Black, the Young Bucks. Those matches would skyrocket these two guys' career to an outstanding level that they haven't had as a single stars, or the highest they got was 171 and 175 as singles wrestlers. Didn't even make the list. One time NXT tag team champion. And I say if they were in their prime right now, which they might be, I'm not sure exactly how old Aiden English and Simon Gotch are. I'm looking it up right now. 36 and 41. Yeah, they could still wrestle for another 10 years. Look at Sting and Jericho. They're wrestling easily into their 50s. But I just don't think they will ever get the traction that they would have got if that 2014 Vaughn Villain debuted now. Coming in at number 2.
Think you can tell us what to do? Yeah.
Sean Waltman, a.k.a. X-Pac. Oh, this is definitely a shock, because I said the lower numbers would have a vastly greater career than the higher numbers. And I have a guy who is a 2-time WWE Hall of Famer, at number 2, I say that he would have the second biggest career jump and trajectory than other guys. Yes, I do. X-Pac wrestled an amazing style. It didn't matter if he was the 1-2-3 Kid, Kamikaze Kid, X-Pac, Stick Pac. I'm looking at like names. I didn't wrestle in his real name. The issue that he had is simple. He was short. He was small. But he was a feisty guy who put on great matches despite not being the biggest guy. And realistically, if he wasn't like super best friends with the Clique, Triple H, HBK, Nash, and Hall, he probably would have just been another small guy in WWE that never really went anywhere. But due to his friendships, he got into DX, NWO. And just think, if you had that X-Pac cocky attitude now, he would be like a megastar. He would be like bigger than MJF because that's kind of the same attitude. Like MJF better than you things would know it. The X-Pac mentality would have been the perfect. I know I did that. Contrast to that cocky attitude just of the punky kid who just doesn't give a flying fuck about anything and just put on great matches and had the attitude to go with it. And my number 1, the person whose career I think would have been the most different if their prime was right now, is Tyler Breeze. Prince Pretty himself. Yeah, I love Tyler Breeze. I love the gimmick that he did. I love the originality of the gimmick. Yes, he is 35 and easily has a chance to come back and be a megastar. His highest rank was 61 in 2015. The original concept of Tyler Breeze was Tyler Breeze would go to these WWE tryouts and see like bodybuilders and like male models who had like no concept of professional wrestling, trying thinking that they can make it, compared to him who was trained by Lance Storm, who is a great in-ring talent. He was always laughing at that, so he made this Tyler Breeze gimmick up. He would be just as over, if not more, than Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy is like sloth, low energy, I don't want to do nothing. You add in a guy like Tyler Breeze who pretends like he doesn't know like wrestling terminologies, wrestling concept, who still goes out there, put on a great match, has zero issue with the comedy spots. Guy who thinking that he's being 100% serious with the selfie sticks, the bright colors. The man would easily be AEW championship reign, at least the TV title, ROH champion, easily. Like, would this gimmick get super over in WWE? Maybe, maybe not. You have R-Truth kind of doing his thing still. But the Tyler Breeze gimmick, if done right, especially now that with I don't like all the gaming stuff, Tyler Breeze would be a mega star. To the same way that you see guys like Danhausen, Hook. I literally just said it. Orange Cassidy. Like, his stock would be vastly higher than what it is now. Like, he doing independent stuff, but his biggest run was the NXT and Breeze Dango, and when he got pulled up to the main roster, it just slowly getting stripped away, and Vince didn't get it. AEW and the AEW fan base would easily get it and easily get behind Tyler Breeze. But that's it. That is the 11 wrestlers that I think, if their prime was now, would have a better career. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Until then, I'll see you weird people later.